Good morning, my friends. This is Tyra Jarvis with Kefi Coaching coming to you live for Transformation Tuesday. This is the place I show up consistently every week to talk about what's top of mind around mindset, motivation, growth, transformation, whatever's showing up. And I love that you're joining me and that you're listening, and would appreciate hearing from you if you have any comments or anything that you'd like to share or any topics that you'd like me to chime in on. I'd really be happy to do that. Let me just say that, for the last several weeks, I've been talking a lot about fear, and it's kind of a funny phenomenon. I've heard people talk about, they've decided to buy a car and they've decided to buy, let's say, a silver Lexus SUV, and then that's all they see driving around. Like it's your brain. We already know that the brain only sees things the way you are. So once you change, it starts to see things that are different than maybe what you've seen in the past. And so I believe I mentioned that I'm in a book club right now, and we're exploring Rhonda Britton's book, Fearless Living. And so I've been looking a lot at fear and trying to distinguish it, not only for the people that I work with and, this audience, but for myself. Like, where is fear really kind of the ruling factor? And just to kind of cliff note it a little bit, the brain's sole purpose is to keep you safe, and it sees and hears things. It's very sophisticated, and it uses filters to reinforce and validate whatever that fear is for you. And so until you do something that's going to acknowledge your fears so that it'll calm them, and we talked last week about making fear your friend, but it's really more about how you manage your relationship with fear and make sure that it's influencing you in the way that you really want to grow and go. And so when you look at that phenomenon of fear, the best way to do that is to do this interruption or do an intervention or whatever you want to call it, is going to be your mind and that partnership that the mind has with your physiological brain and influencing your mind. And there's a lot of talk out there about mindset hacks and how you screw with your mind or whatever you're going to do. And so a lot of those things are kind of top of mind for me today. So I want to talk a little bit about some strategies that you might actually do to alter your relationship with fear. So I think the best place to start is always going to be around awareness and being aware of what your fears are and how they're influencing you. And then what would come out of that is, how do you kind of fight that with an awareness intervention? And what that would be visioning and really getting in touch and staying in touch with your vision. I call it compelling future fulfilled, whatever that looks like, whatever that time frame for you could be. It could be a big life goal like lifestyle or work or health, or it could also be much smaller than that. It could be you want to get through the day, and what's your vision for how you're going to complete the day. But this intervention and working on this mindset view, and visioning is a fun exercise. It helps you tap into your imagination, your creativity, and really get you in touch with your feelings of joy and happiness of what you want to create in the world. And then if you can find a way to bring some element of what that vision might be for you into today, into the here and now for joy and happiness, maybe it's in your play space, maybe it's making sure you get outside in nature, whatever that is. But it does start with awareness and really tapping into that and getting in touch with what that future fulfilled would look like. Kind of a fun exercise is called future pacing. I've heard this talked about a lot of times, but I didn't really know it or understand it. If you're in the career space and you're considering a new job, the example would be for 24 hours, pretend that you have that job. Maybe, and forget the COVID constraints, but, you would take that commute. If you're, drive to that office, see what it feels like, to be driving at that time of the day. What does it feel like to to dress for that job or to be in that job or to do that job, and imagine what kind of people you'd be working with. And, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you've got a life and you envision that you're going to be published or you're going to be, speaking on a big stage or something. Happen that it's actually out there, and then get in touch with those feelings and try to look for a way to recreate those. Another hack, if you will, would be a regular practice of gratitude and acknowledgement and forgiveness, because it's hard to feel like a victim or feel disempowered when you're feeling grateful for the parts of your life that are actually working really, really great. And if you're acknowledging, the things about yourself that you like, and if you're expressing gratitude for the people that are showing up for you or the things in your life that are really working for you. So some kind of a regular practice around that will help for sure. You can't beat action. The smallest little action is going to get you free, if you will, of some kind of hold that fear might have on you. And, one thing might be to do one thing that scares you every day, to be pushing that comfort zone. And, I was asking myself this morning, why is it that I don't do the things that I say that I think I should do, want to do, whatever, coming from the, generation of busyness and, women who do too much and, this busyness and really looking at how distracting that is from taking your focus off the things that are most important to you. So you want to be looking at not to-dos and not feeling some false sense of satisfaction that you completed this huge list of things, especially if you didn't do the top 3 things that are really going to move your life forward. So, there's time management hacks around Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. You want to eat the ugliest thing, the first thing in the day, whatever that 90 minutes is. Get that out of the way first so that it's not hanging over your head. And, and look at those kinds of actions that you would do. And, get the fact that clutter and physical clutter and emotional clutter are really distracting, and they disempower you. They zap your energy, and they really do waste your time. So looking for skills and things that you can do in that area. And, you've heard me quote the Sandra Yancey quote numerous times. Mindset is the only to-do that you don't take off your list. And that's because every day focusing on mindset is where you're going to see those top 3 things, or allow your intuition and your instincts to come forward and say, oh, I need to remember to call Carol today, or I need to remember to do this today. And it allows you to get in touch with those things. And if they happen to be, in that top 3 area of moving your life forward, then you want to make sure that they're, in your plan for the day. The last one that I want to mention is accountability. And accountability looks a lot of different ways. If it's not in your calendar, and you want to look at your calendar and see what's in there, and if you've overprogrammed your calendar and it's full of stuff that really are not going to be those things that are going to move your life forward, you need to clear some white space in there and give yourself some breathing room. But you want to make sure that the things that really matter, not just appointments and meetings, but make projects into events on your calendar so that you're scheduling that time. If it's a training program that you're in and the commitment is 2 hours a week, make sure that those 2 hours are booked on your calendar so that you don't overbook them and you don't get to the end of the week and you didn't get those things done. So your calendar is definitely one. A coach provides accountability. It helps you to hold yourself accountable. So does an accountability partner. It could be anybody from any walk of life that's willing to be a listener for you, to listen for your blind spots, listen to the things that are blocking you and looking with you to see what you can do to move those blocks. It could be someone that's listening to the tone, or are you complaining? Are you making excuses? Are you not really being fully responsible for the circumstances in your life? That's a very powerful intervention, if you will, that can help you develop the muscle to move those things forward. And then you'll actually see different possibilities and different actions to take. So I think, just to summarize, find an awareness tool that allows you to get in touch with your imagination and your creativity, and, so that you can see possibility and see solutions, and, and then use gratitude and acknowledgement to stay positive. Those creative things that matter most to you. And then I would say the action is big, and it doesn't even need to be a big action, just the smallest action. Just do something. And even if this sounds like a mundane kind of thing, if it means, get that stack of papers off the floor, toss those things or donate those things that are in your way, clean something out, clean a drawer, whatever it is, so you can create a win for yourself to sustain that motivation that you're looking for. And not to spend all day doing it, but to use it to dislodge, if you will, acknowledge and dislodge that something's awry and that it's blocking you. So do what you have to do to get that block out of there through action, and then look for accountability. And accountability would be, new and different ways to use your calendar, possibly, thinking about a coach, finding out if a coach and coaching is the right thing for you. It's a very powerful tool for helping you to produce results, especially in areas where you've maybe not been able to do it on your own. And it's not babysitting. It's really anything that can, and anyone that can help you hold yourself accountable to those top 3 things that you say that you really want in your life. That's an intervention that I would strongly recommend and have you consider. So with that, I'm going to wrap. I want you to know that if you like the things that I'm talking about, just know that I have a free gift online on my website. If you go to tyrajarvis.com/fulfillment-audio/ I have a 3-part audio program on the fulfillment formula. Short audios, they're like 20 minutes each. And it's free, so just go online and go grab that and give yourself a shot of, what's that, 60 minutes total? But, give yourself a little bit of time to look at how you can really work to have a healthy mental and emotional state, and what being is doing for you. You've heard me talk about that, and what your being state is. And so you'll choose actions and behaviors that have a real strong likelihood of driving you towards the results that you want to create most. That's the path to the fulfillment formula that I talk about. And, I'm sharing experiences of what happens when you get into the doing space and you're just doing things to be doing them without really investing the time on your mental, emotional, and being state, and making sure that that foundation is there for you, so that you can take on those challenges of the world and those actions that you want to take, and, really go after those big, hairy, audacious goals, or whatever you want to call them. So with that, I'm going to say, make it a great day. Go out there and have some fun, use some creativity, use some imagination, look for some fun, different ways to do the things that you love. And don't underestimate that play and hobbies and music. I think many of us grew up not pursuing our creative endeavors because it wasn't practical and you weren't going to be able to make money at it or whatever. And so we didn't really work on those skills, and they're really key. And then you look at the school system cutting the arts first thing. Our creativity is our access to all the other things. If we can, if we can find a way to be able to do it. So find some way to be creative today. I don't know if it's buying yourself a coloring book, painting, baking, creating a new recipe. Get the right side of your brain and the creativity side of your brain balanced up with, that action-oriented brain, to have a whole view at creating that life that you really want and you really love. All right. So listen, have a great day. If you like what I had to say this morning, go ahead and chime in on the comments. Sorry, it looks like we might have had a couple of interruptions. Hopefully it didn't diminish your listening and viewing too badly. Anyway, I want you to have a great day, and I look forward to catching you next week on Transformation Tuesday. For that, it's Tyra Jarvis. You take care. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.